The All Smiling Faces podcast is now sponsored by TireSpot, the Northeast's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. TireSpot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tirespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Always Smiling Faces podcast on the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. I just want to start it off by saying, yes, me and Deck are all wearing the same clothes. Well, not the same clothes. We're not joined at the hip here, but we're matching attire, Decker. And it actually goes down to the shorts
you're very much all wearing matching.
Well, when I pulled into the car park, I seen him and I went, oh. And I thought, he'll have some XP in his car and his bag. And then I asked him and he went, no, I've got no. I was like, oh, so we're just the same, yeah. So never mind, it is what it is,
We're just repping. Absolutely repping.
Sorry for the audio listeners.
Wouldn't say ripping.
Ripping. Well, we're repping, not ripping. As you can see, as you will be able to hear very soon, Bestie's here. Hi, Bestie.
Hello.
And Mr. Mark Walker's here. Full house tonight.
Hello.
Mark, you've got a lovely colour, actually. Just talking about suntans night. You've been out?
I've been sitting in the garden.
It's gated
Making the most of it. Beautiful.
Gated all white and all, so it'll be very
Well, that's it.
Close
On
to
top
the
of the hill, don't
sun.
My neck feels like it's been on the sun. Like I'm actually in agony. But...
So it's golfing season for Decker again, and as you'll be able to see, Decker goes very red in golfing season.
Yeah.
I just thought he was embarrassed for wearing. Hey! Teed each other up there.
I just never ever learn. I'm so excited just to get out there, and then next thing you know, because you've got your head down for a majority of the time you're out, right? So your neck's just getting it. You know?
There's a couple of comments already about our matching t-shirts, Decker.
And shorts. Don't forget the shorts.
And shorts. People can't see the shorts. Jules says, it's cute, like twins.
It's lush like.
It is.
What, the Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito version?
Which one's which?
Right. What I'm going to do, I'm going to send it back to your way. So everybody that is watching this, if you've got any questions, just like we did last week, we'll go through them throughout the podcast. What I did want to start with, and I'll come to you, Bestie. So season ticket holders, not ourselves, but in certain areas of St. James's Park, have been receiving an email saying, sorry for the inconvenience, but we're booting you out your seat. So it is the Leisure Sports Bar.
Yeah.
I believe it is.
It is, yeah. Centre tier of the Leasers right behind the goal.
They're going to make it a more of a hospitality type of thing.
So yeah, so I've actually got a copy of the email which was sent out to those that were sat there, and it's basically just they're going to be making it a bigger bar experience sort of thing. So the email reads, and I'm sorry for boring everybody, but I'll try and get through as fast as I can. It says, dear season ticket holder, we wanted to update you that we are making some changes at St. James's Park this summer as we look to enhance our historic home and prepare for our return to Europe. We have some exciting plans, but we acknowledge this will also lead to some changes for a small number of our loyal season ticket holders. We want to communicate these changes at the earliest opportunity and work with supporters who may benefit so that they can continue to enjoy getting behind the team next season. It then goes on saying, basically, we announced that Leisure Sports Bar will undergo a transformation this summer with a new facility in place offering a premium match day experience. To me, that sounds like hospitality.
They're just going to make, so that's going to get more money in, basically.
So, unfortunately, that means that people are getting moved from their seats.
Yeah.
Which some of them may have been there for a season, some of them have been there for decades.
In a lot of cases, though, I must say that they're technically getting better seats. So a lot of them have been moved into the Millburn, into like the Platinum Club and the Sports Bar in there. So you're getting...
They've been offered first dibs on anywhere they want to sit. If the seat's available, they'll get moved. I'm not sure if they're having to pay a difference in charge.
Not that I believe so.
So I'm not sure. What's your thoughts on that, Bestie, first of all? Is this something which we were expecting?
Not that one, no, because obviously they're doing the safe standing in the corner and I think part of the Gallowgate this summer as well. So that's going to cause a bit of upheaval in that not everyone's going to want to stand. And people are going to think, well, people are going to be stood around us. I'm going to move to somewhere where... So I think you'll see a little bit of movement around St. James's Park from a few hundred.
It's a bit of a shuffle, isn't it?
Yeah, so that's kind of adds to that, really. I'm interested to see, I mean, they can't do a great deal with the terracing on the Leasers, can they? Like the seating. It's just the bog standard plastic folded down that you get around most of the rest of the ground, isn't it? As I understand it.
It's the same. Yeah, it's the same. Yeah.
Might put cushions on like they've got in the Platinum. Make it a bit more comfy.
I'm not slightly larger seats in the
So,
Platinum.
so the rumor was
More leg
that
space.
they're going to be creating more boxes,
Mhm.
and obviously looking at the commercial aspect of it's something which we'll have to do. I'm not sure what that's going to do with capacity wise to St James's Park. If it's going to lower it down slightly.
Capacity.
What do you think? I said
Pasty.
pasties.
Pasty wise.
I would take some pasties and St
probably
James's
sell
Park.
more.
Yeah, but the
yeah.
capacity, I'm not sure if it's going to minimize it ever so slightly.
No, because I think the seats are going to stay the same. There's already boxes in the Leazers, isn't there? Just up behind that section.
So do you think it's more of a case where it is just as the email says, refurbishment to the bar?
Yeah, I think it'll be like very much like the Gallowgate Milburn corner, the sports bar in that side where you go into that little bistro and stuff like that, and you just come out and sit in the normal
Also like
normal seats
the
there.
barracks, which is Milburn.
Aye.
Dick, I want to get your thoughts on it because you used to sit in the Platinum Club and you sat there for a few years. If you had received the email saying you're going to have to shift, how would you take it?
I mean, I don't think it's good for anyone having to shift. I just, some people would have been sitting in that seat for God knows how long. It's never a nice thing to get. Like, I mean, whether or not, I know what they're doing and why they're doing it, but I was also seeing a few people complain about the timing of the email. Was saying like it was a bit. One of my mates, Ben, he's probably watching. I'm sure he got the same email, and I know he wasn't happy. Like, it's not nice. Like, it's just not. I would be devastated personally.
Why not the timing? What was the issue there?
No, I don't know. I was maybe saying that out loud.
I think it went out literally the day of the last game.
It was something
or
like
if
that,
not
yeah.
the day after. It was very
I think
close to the end of the
Saying
season.
that they would have known weeks and weeks ago.
Other than being consulting about it.
You know what I mean? And it was almost like literally the kickoff of the last game. I would tell you now. You know what I mean?
The rumor was that people had been chatting to the bar staff that actually work in the bar saying, and people are going, you're not going to be here next season. Before and we had heard rumors in regards to the back of the Leazers and apparently they're building this mega box for the Saudis as well, somewhere in there. Whether that's knocking a couple of the corporate boxes together, which already are there at the moment, or what.
You would expect that because when they announced the that new airline and stuff like that, that was all around trips from Saudi for corporate hospitality and stuff like that.
Riyadh,
yeah. So they obviously need somewhere to host these visitors.
Mm-hmm. I think it's the way. I mean, it's sadly the way of football, isn't it? I mean, we were talking at the weekend. I was at a weekend away with a couple of lads, Newcastle fans, and I was talking about how the hospitality boxes are apparently going up in price like significantly over the summer.
You would expect that.
Like, I think I've heard one of the lads reckons doubling in price. I mean, I don't know how much. I don't know, but that's what I was told. So, I mean, that's just part of when you. I'm not saying we've joined that elite, that kind of stratosphere yet, but that's just the progression. When
we're climbing the ladder, aren't we?
When you see it happen on the pitch, look at like one of the big things with Tottenham's new ground is how good it is for hospitality. What would you call it? Corporate tickets. Arsenal's the same. Anfield has just been done up that way, and that'll include a massive provision for that as well. Like, so it's kind of the part of the game, the part of being successful that's what not. I mean, it's I'll say it on advertising. It's just the extra corporate stuff in the ground. It's not the end of the world. But I remember years ago they had the Save Our Seats thing in the early noughties when Level 7 was getting open. And like people don't like being moved.
Yeah,
because as you say, people will be generations. There'll be someone in there who have gone with a parent who might no longer be here, and it's kind of that. The sentimentality of it, all that, and that's just their part in St James's Park. Because I know where I'm in the corner. I love my seat, and that's
the corner.
Well, when we were like rotten, I thought, God, I hate going here. I thought, I'm giving up. If I give up, I'm giving a good seat up there. Like, and that's like my little part in James is almost like so. I can see why people are upset about it. But
there will be some people probably might be pleased to move seat. You know what I mean? But I think the majority will be devastated. Like,
I think it depends how long you've had the ticket there. A lot of it, doesn't it? Because you may have sat there and had a good relationship with those around you as well. Yeah. And you could have been sat there for years and years. Then all of a sudden, we're separating this little group of people.
I wish somebody had moved my seat.
I wish they would as well.
I'm staring at us. Like, is that the sports bar we've got that walkway that goes over it?
I don't know.
No, it's literally middle tier of the Leazers, directly in the centre behind the goal. It's like just that.
I've been in there a
That
good
little
few
section.
times. Yeah,
I think I was in
Aye.
there when I beat Northampton a couple of times when Torvan made his debut.
Yeah, I think there is like a little
Yeah.
I'm sure there is
a
a bit
walkway
where
that comes out like above, and then you can go down to your
like on the
down
left
to
hand side of
seats.
the yeah.
Possibly. There is a comment that from someone who has been affected by it, and I just want to highlight it's from Mark Beatty. That says the seats offered are not better than the ones we had. We were behind the goal with a cracking view. Now we're on bar 1892, right in the corner. Good seats, yes, I agree, but we weren't given the chance. I think it's been different for different people because the people I've spoke to, especially solo seats, they basically had an option where they want to go.
Yeah,
I suppose if you're one of like a family,
It's a lot easier to move 1 than 5. And I think that's the issue. I saw somebody on social media the other day. All right.
You're trying to find your phone.
So I saw
I'm
somebody
trying to put on silent.
on social media the other day, and I think they had 7 seats all in a row,
Yeah.
which is a bit tough. And Mark, even if we use us as an example, there's 4 of us.
Yeah.
Even moving 4 people will probably be tough.
Yeah, well, I know somebody that's in a group of 3, and they've moved into being offered seats in the platinum, which,
together.
as I say, is pretty
Okay.
which is.
That's
I
all
get
right.
it, if you've got that long-term attachment to the seat, it is probably an upgrade in seat because you move into a side view, middle tier of the Milburn.
Yeah, that is a better view. Like to
Yeah.
be fair, it is. Yeah.
When we come to play games in Europe this season, next season as it is, like have away fans got to be by the pitch in Europe because they always were in the UEFA Cup.
They've got to be by the pitch
Yeah.
in the Premier League and then
They're
that.
meant to be. aren't they?
Europe's been different.
So
Always
there's-
been different the last few seasons we've got in, haven't they?
So there's going to be people who have a regular match day, that Saturday afternoon ticket, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
Who are going to be having to sit elsewhere anyway, aren't they?
To be fair, they're generally, not that it's happened dead regularly, but they've normally housed them in the Leazes corners,
Yeah,
which is where the biggest proportion of general
A
sale and
lot of
members
that,
tickets
though,
are.
was down to St James's Park not selling out, though.
Yeah, normally.
It was easier to put them there when we weren't selling out.
Aye, but there's a lower percentage of season ticket holders in those corners.
Aye.
When
What,
you're
even now?
buying, yeah, 100%.
Reckon?
When you're buying tickets on a member sale or general sale,
The bend where
there's
the players
there's spaces there.
where they walk in through
Yeah,
the, you know what I
that's
mean?
that corner
That
around.
sort of corner there normally. He's right. If you
Yeah.
go on, they're normally there.
Milburn
That
there.
lanes around, you
So
know.
those are the ones that you go for straight away.
Aye,
100%.
You're guaranteed to
Yeah.
get one there. Obviously, we spoke about the sports bar, and do you know what it is? I think if it was happening to me, I probably wouldn't be best pleased. But it's something which we're just going to have to live with. It's going to happen again in the future, and again and again. There might even be a case where we'll all get shifted out the ground completely to a different one.
Yeah.
It's something which is going to happen in the future, and I want to focus to where we sit, though, Mark, and you, Bestie. I know you stand up anyway in the corner where you're on the very back row, aren't you? And Mark, obviously, our seat in the corner on the first row of the first level up, if that makes sense to people. You walk up, you go
Middle
through the
tier.
turnstiles, you walk up the stairs, then we're there in the middle tier. So it doesn't really affect us, the standing situation either, because we've got a bar in front of us, like not a drinks bar. People listening, it's a
That'd be
barrier.
handy, wouldn't it?
It's a bar. They're taking that bar from the Leazes and just put it where
Put it in
we
front of
are.
us. Get in.
So we've got like a barrier, a metal bar in front of us. So it doesn't affect us.
It does when you've
there's
got that massive lanky fella who's like in front of to the left.
But
Who
we've got
always
to drop.
stands up.
We've got to drop, haven't we?
Yeah.
Like
He's-
ours.
He's even taller than Bessie. He's about 7 foot tall.
Right.
Every time we get a corner,
It seems like
he's right in the middle of the goal.
Sure, it's not Dan Burn.
Could be.
It seems like the club are making a lot of changes. Was once again we knew was coming, but a lot of changes where it's gonna cause a bit of an issue with people moving all at the same time.
Yeah, but I guess it's better to get it done in one go, isn't it? Because if
Do you think it's minimal what's happening to the corner, to the strawberry corner? There's not going to be that
Ah,
many people move.
I
I
think
think it will. Like,
Do you think it's going to be minimal compared to the amount of thousands of seats it's going to be affecting?
if you think how many people in the corner stand anyway, you can 2/3 of that entire area stand
Well,
the
it's-
entire
I don't
game.
think it's 2/3, you know,
I'd say
mate.
maybe it's back 10 rows. The majority would do, but there's still people. Not on my row. Everyone stands right around the back. The row in front of them do. Probably back 6 rows, I would say everyone, and then people do start to sit. And
But it's at least from halfway down that you start getting people sitting. You probably don't actually appreciate because you're looking across and down actually how many people are standing
no,
up in
yeah,
front of you.
I totally, I get that. Yeah, I agree with that. I still think there'll be people that are there that sit there that like to sit in football.
Yeah.
Who, I mean, maybe they'll give it a go this season and they'll think, well, I didn't see what he thinks for half the season, so I'm going to move on. But it will make a difference. It'll be a few hundred, I would have thought. Like,
I think what you're saying about all the changes, maybe it's maybe best to do them all at once, or certainly as many as you can,
Yeah.
rather than doing this pocket here, piss them off, and then a few months later piss these off. Just piss everyone off and just get it all done in one sweep, or as best you can anyway.
Yeah.
You know what seats are left over then, don't you?
Yeah,
If you
exactly.
do all the impact in one go, you know you've got X amount of seats that are free that they can move into once that.
No, just really what Bestie was saying. Like, I think, not to sound stupid here, but like, you know, like, I know the man on the street doesn't want the game to go that way, you know, in regards to being corporate and stuff, but that's where the money is, isn't it? That's where the draw is, and that's where I always tend to find now that football, like you look at Spurs' stadium and stuff and what Anfield's trying to be, along with being quiet, is like this, like sort of it's a day out, isn't it? It's like it's almost like going to theatre, man. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like it's an experience rather than just going to the match. Do you know what I mean? Like, does that make sense? And it's kind of going that way. And I know a lot of people don't like that. Don't get us wrong, but in order for us to become what we are going to be, well, I'm afraid that's where it's going to go. Like,
so just on the back of this, Daniel Vanderput says, "Will there be safe standing section introduced at St James's Park?" Sorry for not being clear enough there. It is that corner, it's a Strawberry corner, which goes slightly in the Gallowgate, which is going to be safe stand. I'm not sure how many seats were affected. There was a fair few thousand, wasn't it?
Yeah, I did get the email, but I think it says in the email. I can't remember exactly how.
and when's that for? Sorry, what is that? For
next season.
That's from,
for next season, starting
yeah.
from the I thought
So I've had my last game in that old seat, basically.
right. Yeah,
I'm not moving. I'm just getting a different seat with a barrier at the front.
yeah.
So I put my coat.
I've seen that, but we'll come on to that later. So, first question of the night is from Jules. Hi, Jules. Says, anyone know the plans for the Terrace bar? It was closed last match day. So basically, is there any sort of commercial plans for that? We've had a discussion about the Terrace bar, because the Terrace bar used to be the club shop.
I think in my head is that corner. The club
Yeah, it
shop
used to
was
be
there.
back in the olden days in the museum as well. If you remember that.
Yeah, I back a while like that, but yeah. I've not. How long's it been shut for? I never, because I.
Just before the end of the season, wasn't it?
Well, what game was it when I saw you in there, Decker? In Terrace bar?
You know what? Sorry.
What game did I see you in the Terrace bar?
Oh, I can't remember.
It wasn't like that long ago, though, was it?
No. I think maybe the cup game, perhaps. I don't know. I could be wrong there. Actually,
It's definitely at least the last
all over the
two
place.
home
I'm a
games
whore.
that's been
What can I
closed.
say?
I know that was in bloody over the space of 4 days, but
Right in Leicester.
So what could they do in that instance? So if that's been, do you think it can't be a makeover to that, because it's newish anyway, isn't it? It doesn't need a
that
makeover,
hasn't
does
been
it?
that hasn't been refurbed for a good while yet.
I watched the.
That hasn't been refurbed since before COVID.
I think the only time I was in there was when they played Hull in the cup. Got beat on penalties in 2016.
Yeah.
So I mean that's 7 years ago straight away there. Like so.
I suppose. Is there much you could do with that though? It's big empty space, really, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they could make the bar a bit bigger. Like that would help.
I'm not sure they could make the bar bigger, mate. It's massive. I don't know where they're going to put it.
There's never enough people
Outside.
serving, is there? That would be nice, wouldn't it? I'd extend to get a nice little seating area outside.
Has there been any news in regards to this fan zone that the rumours were spreading? But obviously, since the club bought the land back.
They've started cutting the grass again.
Oh well, that's great.
Used to always every week. You used to see that
All the building materials still
all
there.
of the no, they've cleared it all out. So and the so you see the grounds people going over and cutting the grass and stuff like that again now, because they used to always look after it.
That's promising. Then if they are actually doing something, they've moved loads of.
Still a lot of the fences up, it's particularly that top car park next to the Strawberry.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's been a comment about the Terrace bar, and apparently it's been the sign's been painted, so it doesn't even say the Terrace anymore. So they're obviously doing work, and Darryl said there's skips outside.
Be stripping it out.
I remember
Give
the
it a
skip
refurb.
days when every time
Excited over a skip.
Sports Direct was in there. Oh my god!
That's it. New match day bar for the season ahead. That's I'm predicting that now. ITK.
Could there possibly be? They couldn't really do it with Shiraz being there, or moving Shiraz to Terrace bar to then make a mega store for the club shop.
Does it need to be any bigger?
It needs to be better.
It's just the
It's
same.
one of the worst.
It's just
in
the same
history,
stuff repeated in like 20 sections, isn't it?
It's
What would you like
horrendous.
to see improved in the club
Oh
shop?
god,
Becca?
just all of it. I mean, literally all of it. Like everything from top to bottom. It is the worst ever.
Where do you get your shirts printed in there? I've never
Oh,
actually seen them
upstairs.
printed.
Upstairs and like to the
Upstairs,
back. aye.
to the right.
So up the escalators and walk back round on yourself.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. Okay.
When I went, because I went,
Used to be the Tills.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. When I went to see the Eagles at in Anfield it was. That's where they were playing there, and then we're just killing time, to be quite honest. We just went in the club shop, and like theirs was like unreal. I did the Spurs tour. Spurs it's the biggest.
Why
in
were we
Europe,
playing
Spurs.
basketball at Anfield?
I thought it was Crystal
I'm gonna
Palace.
say that. Oh, the band, the Eagles. I went to Spurs Stadium, and theirs is the biggest in Europe. I think it overtook Bayern's apparently, and was just unbelievable. Like it's unreal the amount of stuff they've got in, and like the way it's presented. Whereas you go in ours, and it's just, God, it's awful.
I think that's the difference
It
when you've got a
is
purpose-built
awful.
stadium, though, isn't it? You can put all of that infrastructure in there during the build.
You
Whereas
remember how lush it was when it was where the Terrace bar is, when that was the club shop, and you used to come out. Well, where you'd come out the Terrace because you
Yeah.
got the entrance and then out the back. I used to love it. Them
I
days.
stayed one at Monument Mall.
but the one where it
I
is
did
now
when
is
I went
really
above.
good now.
Yeah.
will be bigger than what the Terrace.
Oh no, I'm not saying it's.
I think
not,
it's just the amount of stuff that is in there.
It
So-
looks
repeated,
awful.
doesn't it?
It just looks desperate.
Blue Rhythm
You know what I mean?
Boys says, I swear the club shop is just 2 reels, then 5 mirrors, and then just repeats itself.
That's what I'm
know,
saying.
over
It's
and
just
over
the
again.
same. It's just the same stuff
It's
over and
awful,
over
yeah.
again.
Absolutely, honestly.
That's the problem. There's just not enough variety of black Castor t-shirts.
That's
Could
the
you
issue.
tell? It's ironic that as well, given that we have a new training kit up for every match.
I know.
Yeah. It's really poor, like really poor.
Like literally upstairs, the whole section is just the 3 kits,
Yeah,
and that's it.
Keep my hopes.
But there's like 1 rail of that.
There's none now. I was up there when I see you up there about a month ago, 3 weeks ago. And
Just full of socks on it.
I basically I still got the wrong ones.
Did you?
No, the ones I got in the end,
Oh,
but
right.
I'll go back in.
So the funny story about that, when me and Bessie bumped into each other in the club shop, I think 3 or 4 people out of the Gallowgateshots group went in the shop within an hour of each other.
Are you all buying the same thing?
Well, me and Decker. Had you been there that day?
Yeah,
When I went? Matty was
Matty
there.
as well. Yeah.
So me and Bessie were there at the same time. So we get to the till, and Bessie goes, "Actually, I better check these socks." And Bessie had bought footless socks,
Just the sleeves, the ones that I press because the way the grip
yeah,
socks been. I'm like, oh.
and I kind
Didn't
of
buy
wished
them, though.
you hadn't realised
Oh.
until
Well,
you got home.
I buy them for Glastonbury because, like, for wellies, putting wellies on, wearing walking boots, football socks are a bit more padding. If you're getting welly over your ankles, I could kind of have it. So, I mean, actually wouldn't have been too bad for that. Like, but I was. Oh.
What would you like to see in the club shop, Decker? I'll come back to you.
What
What sort of things? Obviously, your kits, your training gear, your generic sort of thing.
Gnomes.
Long sleeve shirts.
What else?
I'm very sad though. You have to remember that.
Well, we
So
know
like
that.
when I went to the Spurs stadium, I am telling you now, them had every single possible item you could use in life with a Spurs logo on it. Now that other people think that might be tacky. Don't get us wrong.
So
but
you're
I'm
thinking
talking
more
them had
novelty and accessories and
Superhero
gadgets. Sort of.
Yeah.
thing.
That
Them
sounds
had
like the
everything.
Mike Ashley
Nah,
approach to
the way if it's done right. If it's done right, we're not talking of a Sports Direct mug or something. Then again, it was mugs and that. Like, but they had like I'm talking like literally everything. But that in Anfield upstairs was good because I thought anyway, in my opinion, they had loads of like memorabilia stuff, like pictures of like them winning the European Cup was signed by all the players and stuff, match worn shirts, things like that. Which I'm not saying to go and buy them, but I just think it looked impressive. But the Spurs one, as I say, it literally had. Well, them also had a Champions League section as well, which had.
Well, you could have that.
Which we'll hopefully have as well. But they had like that their own section there, which had all the training gear, they had the match shirts with all obviously the logos on the stuff. But they just had an unbelievable amount of. Some people might say a tat, like don't get us wrong, but you could fucking get oven gloves.
So
with the
we've
Spurs
got
logos on, you know
like
what
a
I mean?
little wall underneath the escalator,
Which is just awful.
and it sells like
stationary kits.
yeah, it
We've
sells like
got-
pencil case.
Remember when you used to get the catalogue for the club shop?
Oh,
and
yeah.
You had
Still get
everything
catalogues,
in there, didn't you?
Unbelievable.
That's the days you need to go back to
That's
where
what I
you've,
mean,
you've
yeah,
got
yeah.
like a selection of stuff. Like, think how many like families get to go to the game and stuff like that.
Yeah, but
So
it's
it's a
issue with
visit to go in.
catalog. Is that not just taken over now by the club website?
Ah,
Oh,
it
no,
is,
it is.
but it's the
You
it's the
think like
variety of
Yeah,
stuff
that's what
that
he
you could
means,
that you
okay.
could get
How
in the
mint was it
catalogue.
getting them catalogues?
Yeah,
Because I used to go to the one at remember Eldon Square
Square.
before it got knocked down. That
Aye.
part of Eldon Square, the
Monument
tiny
Mall.
shop, wasn't it? No,
Yeah.
not Monument Mall.
the little one in the entrance, like
No.
where Specsavers is now.
No. I'm
Round
on
the
about
back,
old Eldon
Here
Square.
Market.
Yeah. When you were going,
Yeah.
aye.
in the
And there
porta
was a
cabin,
tiny
that
little one,
thing.
wasn't there?
Aye.
Mm.
God, the catalogue was mint, man. Ferdinand that way, and the
I still the
jackets and that.
catalogue, like,
It was just
aye.
amazing. Like,
There was 2 in the Metro Centre as well, wasn't there?
there was.
Yep.
Aye. Yeah, there was two.
Was
yeah.
a fair few. Was you 5 then?
It was sad when they all started to close. That was just Ashley obviously doing what he does, but like it was just forcing you to go at the stadium. But before there was one in the Metro Centre, there was 2 in Eldon Square.
Monument Mall.
Monument Mall was great. That's when I met Jonas and that in there. It was great. They were signing stuff and that was mint.
Aye.
It's good days, like. But going back to what you're saying, sorry, I love all that stuff. Like, and some people might not, but I do, and I love the variety of, and that's why I like going back to when I was a kid, where the Terrace bar one was. I remember that the glass cases around where the tills were, and in there they had like, I know this shit, right? But they had like loads of jewelry and stuff you could get and that, and like not that I'd wear it. I'm just saying that
Maybe
they had.
Newcastle
I
crest, like sovereign and that.
100% had
I
a
actually did-
Newcastle gold crest ring when
Did
I
you?
was a kid.
I did have an
So,
earring. I
100%.
actually did have an earring. It was Newcastle logo.
Do you know what it is?
I
If
did,
I was
yeah.
going to guess the two people, one that would have the sovereign ring and the one that was
No, it
on
wasn't a
Newcastle,
sovereign. It was
the
like
Newcastle earring, and I would have picked you.
It was
two,
like the crest.
I did. I remember. Yeah.
Surely the crest could
Just-
only fit on a sovereign.
like the shield. No, it was just like the shield, just
Oh.
on a band.
So, for example, in the
Quality.
Spurs shop, they had a golf section, right? And the golf section was amazing. Like, and of course, right, we've all seen balls with the
balls
logo
with
on.
the logo on.
Yeah, we've got that right. But them had like they had the Champions League
covers and
version of
stuff.
that. They had head covers. Yeah, they had towels. They had even a bag. Like, I mean, literally everything.
Yeah.
I go in hours now where you've got a pencil case, a dog lead, and a dog bowl. That's
and the
it.
bib for the dog.
No
Yeah,
gnomes
that's it.
though.
That's
And
all we've
Bring
got.
back the gnomes.
I still get like a duvet set in that.
Them didn't Spurs. I'm not joking. They had everything for a kid's bed or a double sized bed. They had
I used to have,
everything.
like when I was a bit.
Did you have a duvet?
I had a duvet.
I had a
I
duvet.
did.
Border.
Wallpaper,
With a
100%.
border on it.
Yeah.
I had the lot, but it was all official brand.
Bedside
your
lamp.
border, was your border in the middle of the room or the top of the room?
Mine was the middle, if I remember rightly. My
Mine was
duvet
the-
actually was the one that had the old, that one of my favorite logos, the NUFC,
Yeah, the 80s one.
the 80s one, and it had the modern one. It had like 3 logos on the bedspread. Yeah.
I had the one which had the 1892 on the shirts. That used to be in the back of the,
Oh, yeah,
the
that was the one.
t-shirts.
Well, that
didn't
used to
it?
be the club shop logo.
Yeah.
Mine
Club
was,
1892.
I'm saying, I can't find a photo of it. Yeah, I've got one here, but it was
Quite
the
nostalgic,
old
isn't
80s logo, like a net behind it, and it had St James's Park on like a yellow banner. It was, I used to love it, mate. Like I post some
Lampshades.
Even like badges and stuff
Lampshade,
like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
yeah.
You know how like people love badges to collect badges. If
I've
they saw
got it.
different badges in the club shop,
Totally
and
agree.
I've got
Stuff
a
like
cupboard
that.
full of all pin
Totally
badges on mine.
agree.
Yeah, I love it.
that's what it needs. Like I was saying, like kids when they go to the game, they want to go into the club shop, and
Yep.
if they had affordable stuff that they could spend a bit of pocket money on and stuff like that,
Mentioning stuff like that, like just pin badges, for example, right? I'm telling you now, there's probably half the stadium would collect pin badges, right? I'm not saying I'd be one of them,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
people would. And if it's a £5 here or £4 there, I don't know. It's just ways of generating revenue, isn't it? And like
just look at our match preview
talking about them
sponsors.
as well.
They've got the American football shirts in there as well.
No, but apparently when it is NFL's on, they strip the entire shop and it just turns into
Like the NFL.
Like
which
pop-up
Spurs
shops,
fan
aren't they?
hate. Apparently they don't like that, but that's what they do. They change
Well,
it
the
all.
stadium's kind of purpose built for that as well. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Like the American football change rooms and all that.
The
like, so-
two things that, and I'm not saying these are important by any stretch, but they had like a huge screen where you like sat as if you were like in the ground, like in the seats,
Uh-huh.
and they had like highlights playing and stuff like that, which is not important to me. But Anfield had the same as well, which them at Sky Sports News playing them did, I think, when I was there.
Scott said to me, a great point. You know, remember the pin badge you used to get? Well, that was just the players' heads, just the massive heads. On the players.
Yeah.
Like just
Yeah.
daft stuff like that. Honestly, they're missing out on so. Does that stuff sell though?
It would. When you're
You
doing
think?
when you're doing well.
Have you looked
anything
behind you?
sells.
No, like now,
Nah,
like
right.
now. Obviously, we're in different age and what we
That's
were
what I'm
back
saying.
then.
Kids and stuff like that would love things like that. But
Do-
when they go to the club shop, like the cheapest things, a scarf, and it's like 15 quid, 20 quid.
Do you know what really annoys me, right? And this is something which the club should get on board with. I know they have to a certain extent with the guys at Waxer, because Waxer have done a couple of videos for the club, and that absolutely fantastic. That one that I did, the 26-minute long Waxer
I've
video,
not
was
seen that one. Yet, but they are really
unbelievable.
good
Yeah, it's
videos,
amazing.
they are.
Isn't it?
Unbelievable. It's a lot of mixed match with things I've already done, but a couple of interviews in there as well, and it's great. Is that there is a lot of Newcastle United fans that are very talented when it comes to the likes of creating artwork and designs or whatever it may be,
Mhm.
and the club are shutting them down straight away. Get them on board to a certain degree.
You could do. They'll probably have to buy a license of the club, wouldn't they? Which would probably dissuade them because, like a cottage industry, like I might not have the money to buy the.
I mean, basically, give them the chance to design things for the club that then may possibly go on sale through the likes of the club's website. Give them a fee for creating this stuff.
You could do everything that it sells designed at some point, isn't it? So why?
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it's probably not a bad idea getting them involved in that way, or if they want to fund maybe making films and stuff, that could be a thing.
Anything else you'd like to see in the club shop? I think loads of people are loving this conversation because it's taking them back to the childhood.
It does.
Ah,
I
that's
still the club
amazing.
shop has a burn.
Have you seen? It goes around quite often, but it was around just the other day. That picture of the Asics bag. You must have seen it.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
black,
I did as well.
the blue with the black and white.
Yep.
Sides.
Yeah.
stripes and
As soon as
stuff,
I seen it, I was like, "God, I used to have that for football when I used to go on that." But yeah,
Umbro, I had loads of Umbro gear, then
Mm,
Asics,
aye.
and then Adidas.
it was
I
all
think
Asics. Like
The
so.
club should have a lot more retro kits in there as well. They've got a handful, but the same price.
Yeah, but
Aye,
some of that bloke owns the copyright to that these days.
Is that what
doesn't
it
he?
is?
They've got quite a few in there. I went in the other day there, but they're like 35 quid a shot. Like, do you know what I mean?
Score draw ones.
Yeah,
Well,
the
Tufts
score
used to-
draw, yeah.
I'm sure Tufts used to do with
They got
officials.
binned as well,
yeah.
didn't they? License and stuff.
But like, yeah, I mean, when you look at and I'm not going to kind of say, oh, we need to get Adidas back. But when you look at like Man United, Arsenal, who are now back with Adidas again, they've got loads of old retro, like proper branded with the trefoil logo and the stripes because they can do that. Whereas I think with Castor, they wouldn't have access to that the copyright on them and all that. Like so, but I
did the Emirates tour the day after because I did them both back to back, and theirs was amazing because they had loads of stuff like what you've just mentioned there, and something else. But this is going to sound ridiculous, but I'm on one now. So I went in the other day, right, and they had one woolly hat 400 times to buy, but one version.
I know this is summer's coming up.
But I'm like, but how it? Well, they had one cap as well. They had one cap. I could buy the same cap 1,000 times.
That one T-shirt. I mean, you win it.
I had one T-shirt. Like, why not have different? Like, it's a cap. So I have one in white, navy, different logo on the back. I don't know, right? But like, come on, guys, like,
broaden your right.
You've got one cap.
To be fair, Castor have started doing that. Like they've brought out like a polo shirt and it's available in 5 colours.
Yeah,
and stuff.
Yeah,
like
the Castor stuff
because they've got their Castor section, haven't they, which is £100 just to even walk over that.
No, but it's like Castor, you know what I mean? The logo with them.
I get it. Yeah, I get it. But in Arsenal, they had like again, not people would like it, but I did. They had loads of selections of watches you could buy, like Arsenal watches, and one of them was like an anniversary one of the you know when the.
I would love if you turned up with.
No, I'm just saying, like, but some people would though. Like my dad would. Do you know what I mean? Older people would. Do you know what I mean? Like, they're fucking arse what they've got on. Do you know what I mean?
Hip
like,
flask. Remember a Newcastle Crest hip flask?
You can actually buy them
Still
on the website. I saw them the other day.
Yeah, we're good.
Anyway, they had you know when they were invincible and they didn't lose.
Yeah.
The strap like it had something written on like a crest and stuff, and inside the watch itself it had like the scores and that. Oh, dingers wrong, like fucking hell. You'd have to have some eyesight to see it, but they had all the scores in. I just thought nice little touches.
The new shirt, it's got that. It's got WBD.
It's beautiful.
There's a few comments going on. Loads of things that were mentioned. Missed, and there's Daryl said your dress shirts used to have like a magpie on them, didn't they as well? Yeah. And I remember the catalogue. Did it have like
Castor brought that up again?
Les Ferdinand and Janola modeling them waistcoats and stuff like that.
Denim.
My dad had the when my dad used to play in the band, he used to have the. Can you remember my favourite away shirt? To be fair, the blue with the paint sort of brush marks. They had the waistcoat of that one. I don't know if you remember. My dad used to wear that in the band.
That all three. That all 3 kits in it.
It pops up with eBay every now and then. That one.
I does. Yeah, it does.
Scott, another great shout is that remember when you used to walk in the club shop, and I remember this one from the Metro Centre. You used to be able to buy the single player photos.
Yeah.
It was just like a little A5 picture of the players. Then you used to take them to like training and try and get them signed. You
used to be able to get old programs from games that you might have missed earlier in the season and stuff like that.
Particularly at the Haymarket.
Yeah.
Used to have a full selection up there. And all the away games, they always used to have the away game programs there as well.
Definitely did, yeah.
Surprised they don't sell books either, like Newcastle books. Autobiographies of past players or history of the club.
Like similar to what like the back page would do.
The back page, to be fair, if you could just move that in there, you know what I mean? Like the back page has got it right now, like, but you know, I'm just
DVD. No one's got DVD players now, but
anything.
I know what you mean though.
Like flags, even flags.
Yeah.
Sell them.
You're putting back page out of business here, like.
Well, yeah, but just get them to move in. There you go. Everyone's a winner.
Employ them as well. We're employing everybody at the
minute. But there is so much scope that is missing. It's just I hate it. I go in so regularly as well. I don't know why. I just punish myself. But I go in. I'm like, right, come on, let's see what's in there. And I look around. And I'm like, it's absolutely horrific. It's horrific, man.
So I know we've covered this topic before in the past, okay? Because we'll just mention things that we want to see in the club shop. And this is just basically for the new viewers and listeners to this. And Bessie, I know this is one of your favorite subjects, and people know what your answer is going to be. But if there's one thing which you would add to the stadium or change in the stadium, what would it be?
Black and white seats.
Not the nets.
What was I going to say? Is it not nets
as well? Black and white seats and black and white nets. Aye.
So Bessie wants black and white seats. How would you have the seats? But as it's striped?
Oh, like obviously, like it used to be like an old man, but in the East Stand, used to have they had the boxes halfway up it. But have the black and white little bits at the bottom. Just have the whole. I'll have like NUFC on in white on a black seat. It's not like a bunch of black seats on NUFC in white. I don't. There's not many clubs don't have that kind of thing. Like the grey seats.
How was I just grey? I know.
Yeah, but is it not because the black fades and turns grey?
Keep on top. Just get someone.
Get your fans to come and swap the seats out once they change colour.
A blowtorch brings the.
I love that. It's the best thing ever, isn't it? It's so satisfying.
The picture that goes again around on Twitter a lot is when Keegan's wearing that the whole strip of my favourite strip, the away one, and he's kind of doing that. I think, and behind him, obviously you can see the black and white stripes seats, and every time I see it, I'm like, why don't they do that?
East Stand paddocks.
The black and white nets were amazing as well.
Aye.
Imagine they were dead loose and you should lose the ball. Like they would score and the
Aye.
ball was just gone, disappeared. It was like they were that loose in the net. But I would love black and white. Are you allowed to do that in the Premier League? Does it have to be white? I don't know. Is
I
it
don't
a
think so.
rule?
I'm sure.
I don't really know.
I'm almost completely certain that a lot of them do.
Brentford got every colour on the sun on their
Oh,
seats.
shit, yeah,
On the
that-
seats they have, yeah.
On the seats, yeah, that's awful.
But
But
the
that's to make it look full when it's empty.
Yeah, yeah.
Is the nets though like? Is
That's
there
a
anyone
good
that
question
has
because I can't
I
think of
kind
the
of
top of
think
my
if
head. but
anybody
there
having
must
striped
be.
nets.
There has to be.
I reckon like again possibly Brentford actually or Bournemouth
I
or
thought-
Villa or
I thought Sheffield United might have
So
when they
people
first come up. but I could be
watching
wrong.
now live, let us know if there are any stadiums in the Premier League that have coloured nets.
Yeah, straight.
Striped
Out
nets,
you want?
preferably.
Out really? Out.
Brentford would be the one that springs to mind with them red and white.
I'm just thinking, is it a rule
Us
from the
and
Premier
Brighton,
League?
isn't it?
don't
That's
think
the
it
only
is.
stripes, isn't it?
If it's not, then let's have black and white straight
Southampton.
goalposts. And that.
The corner flags?
Aye.
What were corner flags at the minute? They're just black.
No, they're black and white, half and half, isn't it? Like literally just one flag.
remember.
Black and white, that's
They
it.
are.
Matt Ritchie hasn't kicked
Brentford's,
one for a while.
Oh,
Picture of Brentford I've got here, it's red and white checks.
oh, there
Checks.
you go. Aye,
There we go.
So yeah,
So you allow them to a certain degree.
I mean that's not taken during the game, so I can't see why they would dress up in a different
on
net.
Pez, I used to go in the edit mode on the stadium and make a black and white nets. Like,
I'm sure
Well,
you don't play games.
yeah,
you just
I
edit
don't.
things
I
on
edit.
it.
I'm embarrassing.
You ever played Minecraft?
See,
You'd
you'd
be
never-
mint on Minecraft.
You'd never get a photo of our ground with the nets up like that, would you? As soon as the final whistle's gone, they're out. Get them nets down, quick.
Oh, poor Miggy.
Yeah.
Little mini Miggy couldn't even score.
I'd had the mic halfway.
What would you like to see, Mark?
In the ground. Obviously, it would have to be the Bobby Robson stand, wouldn't it?
Okay.
Can't have anybody else.
Which one would you? Would it be these stands?
You stand up. We're not getting onto this
It's
again.
not dead.
Well, you know what mine is then. So I don't even...
What is yours? Oh, the Kevin Egan stand.
well, it is since he said that. To be fair, I forgot. Mine was exactly the same as Bestie's, but when he said that, the East stand's got to be the Kevin Keegan stand. End of. Has to be.
Bestie, I'll throw it back to you because these two are disagreeing with each other as always. So if you're having the option of naming the East stand, renaming the East stand the Bobby Robson stand, or the Kevin Keegan stand, or the Eddie Howe stand, what are you naming it?
What about Rafa?
Is it got to be something? Can it be the Alan St. Maximin stand? Given that it looks like.
Maxi stand, aye.
Remember the rules. Live or dead.
I don't know. It's one of those ones where it
Or does it not need to happen?
doesn't need that happen really for me. I would say Keegan ahead of Robson, and this is I'm not doing it to be contrary, but because he's still alive, he's there to appreciate it happening. You can name it. It's all well and good, and it'd be lovely because Bobby Robson's obviously a Newcastle fan, growing up and all that from Durham, where wasn't he? What the kind of place he was from? Yeah.
Who?
Eshwinen?
No, it was Eshwin. Langley Park. But Bobby Robson isn't here to appreciate that. He's not. He's like Alex Ferguson when they opened Alex Ferguson stand at Old Trafford.
Hmm.
He's been in that his standard. Kevin Keegan could be in the Kevin Keegan stand at James Park. Bobby Robson can it.
He wouldn't. He doesn't come back.
I know that.
Is Keegan staying away on purpose?
Yes, hates it.
He seems to be. I don't know what's happened there. I find it a bit strange, but he almost kind of came out with a line of like, "Listen, I've had my time. I don't want to intrude, or what they're doing now is unbelievable, and I don't want to infect that or whatever." The wrong terminology I'm using there,
Be a
but,
distraction to it.
which is a
almost,
shame though, because for me, I go, you know what I'm like about Keegan, but from where we were when he came in, not only as a player, but then to come back as a manager and more on the brink, and then take all the way to where he took. I mean, it's just ridiculous. It was unbelievable. He saved it, in my opinion. So I think he deserves that.
undoubtedly, like that.
So what I want
Walked
to
away
see
twice.
added to the ground, okay, is Dixon's.
Well, they can go and buy a laptop.
Does that even exist anymore?
I don't know.
I don't think I exist
PC
anymore.
World now,
That's
innit?
Curry's PC World.
Curry's PC
Curry's,
World.
yeah, I don't think Dixon's exists
too sure.
anymore. Like, along with
Oh,
Comet.
it's
Remember
online,
Comet?
online
It's
only.
handy.
Daniel's great.
Dixon's is online only.
Oh, is it? Okay. Well, I want Dixon's Butchers. That's what I want
Because
in
it
there.
became AO became the shops, didn't it?
Nobody cares, man.
Why are we talking about this?
So I want Savloy.
This is going to take us down the Greg's route as well, isn't it?
I wouldn't mind a kebab shop or something.
Dixon's and
I'll be Harry.
Greg's.
Get me a
in
garlic
the
bread special
concourses.
half time.
Geordie Banger Company.
So what would you prefer? Would you prefer Dixon's or Greg's in the ground?
Greg's.
Ooh,
Dixon's, man, all day long.
Dixon's is better, like, but Greg's is more.
Dixon's is better, but Greg's is more.
Greg's is more
convenient.
accessible, isn't it?
The pasta you can just
Yeah.
bang in your pocket. Out it goes. Not Dixon's. You've got to unfurl.
Would you
it and all
need to
that.
put it in your pocket if you're buying it in the ground?
You put burgers in your pocket.
Remember when I did that?
Which is like a tin of
Westlers.
Westlers. That's what
I put it in. I got a cheese. Was it cheeseburger?
Something like that.
And I never buy food from the ground. I don't know
Wrong.
why I bought it, right? And why did I put it in meat? Did I buy two? Oh,
I
I know.
thought
I
you had a
had
drink,
drinks.
didn't
I had
you?
drinks in
Yeah.
my hand. I put the burger in my pocket. The smell of my pocket,
Oh,
mate, I
yeah.
could not get. I think I might have burned that jacket.
Well,
It was honking.
I used to get mince by the Magpie. I used to get mince pies quite a lot, but they're just giving us 3rd-degree burns all the time.
Last time I got
So I
a
just
pie on
had
the
to-
ground was the day that Dyer and Boyer had the fight.
Oh, right.
I'm not
right.
like I say, I'm not really superstitious bloke, but I thought I'm busily off then.
I went
Chicken
to-
chunks, chips, and curry sauce. That's where it's at.
Chicken chunks,
What?
chips, and curry sauce.
Chicken chunks, chips,
Oh.
and curry sauce.
Tell you what I could do with
I'm
the
starving
Terrace
now, man.
is put a 5G mast.
Aye, that wouldn't be fine.
I'll just get a Wi-Fi that works, a router.
Yeah, it's horrendous. Like,
We definitely need an official mobile partner in that ground. Like,
Do we not have
Do you
a
know what it
mobile
is?
partner
It
for
doesn't
subscription?
matter what happens.
Yeah, there's too
You're
much.
never
It's
ever going to get
you know,
signal.
when we had
Too
the
many on
World
one
Cup,
Same
at
when was the
Wembley
World Cup there? 2012.
Was
Not the World Cup. Was it World Cup?
World Cup was last year, man. Was the
No, man. Like when we had games at
1966. Yes, Park,
it
man.
wasn't World Cup.
Not
Was
remember.
it 20? What did we play there? Or was it maybe Rugby World Cup?
What, 98?
The Olympics,
98
the Olympics
World
in 2012.
2012 Olympics. That's what it was. Yeah. I knew it was something in 2012.
On your phone. Anyway.
When it was the Olympics, then they
1G.
came and installed loads of masts in the ground.
Yeah.
Were those not?
Doesn't work though.
It's even worse because it looks like you have an island in it. It's liney. It's like, oh, I'm in 4G or 5G.
I'm connected to the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, no.
Nothing.
I was as well 0 now. Now happening.
Absolutely nothing. It was Olympics.
Yeah,
I'm
I've got
sorry.
50,000 people in a
Oh, of course, yeah.
half
of
a
course, yeah.
Same
half a
crowd.
square
Wembley
mile,
was
haven't
the
you?
same. Wembley was now. I was at
Yeah.
the Old Trafford.
There's
on
now you
Saturday.
can do,
There
man.
was nothing there.
To be fair, like just fucking put your phone away and watch a game.
To be fair,
To be fair, like,
Scott says
It's
you'll
only half time out.
Scott says
Aye.
you'll need 500 masts to support all those phones.
yeah, you would.
It'd be a radiation hotspot.
Come up with like 2 heads each and that. And
Be like a stadium of light by the time we're left, wouldn't it? Little fingers would have.
Greg's
Wee.
back's on the pitch.
Right, let's see if we've got any more questions. Actually, before we move on to this question, I want to talk about the club badge. This has been a topic quite a few times, and it brought its ugly head to attention when Newcastle were introducing, is it like this fan panel sort of thing they were introducing?
Yeah.
And they said that they're going to have regular meetings, and these 3 things will be in discussion, but basically in discussion, it's heritage of the football club. And we wouldn't look at changing that without fan agreement. Mark, if let's say we were to change the club badge,
no.
no,
No.
Let's say if we were, but were you saying this when it was happening previously?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Do not change the badge.
No, but it's changed. So why are you saying don't change this one when you didn't want the last one changed or the one before that changed?
Oh, but no, I wasn't. I thought you meant just the last time we talked about this.
So
The last time
you
the badge
weren't bothered
changed.
the last time the badge changed. You must have been.
I think I was too young to
Can you remember that?
really
football?
appreciate it.
No, not when it changed before the war.
Hey, when was that?
The city's a humble
87, 88.
86, 87, something like that, wasn't
It
it?
was 88, 89 because it was relegation season was the first one with it.
Yeah, I was probably too young to really think about it.
So if we were to change it, okay, you don't have a choice. It's getting changed. Would you prefer a new one or reverting back to a previous one?
Like what Villa have done.
Or
Even then, like,
using something out of the current badge as you kind of
I think if you're going to revert to maybe one of the older badges, you're still at least keeping to the tradition of the club, aren't you?
Yeah.
And going back to your
Exactly.
origins. But to be fair, the origin of the badge we've got now goes back to
But it's
the
it's
first
coat of
badge.
arms,
It's the
isn't it?
city coat of arms, then just modified it to fit in with Newcastle with the shield change at the black and white stripes.
Something that, I mean, when you look at, like I just mentioned Villa's there, Chelsea's, the circular ones at the minute, so Man City, Chelsea,
I
Villa,
hate circular badge.
they're all just versions of previous ones.
Yeah, literally our logo.
Nah.
But
they're
that's
all-
the thing; they all look the same now these
I
days, don't
didn't
they?
think we were sticking that on the wall. Did
I
you?
was looking when
That's
he was
why you
talking
make it
about
like
it,
a circle.
I was looking going, very Man City stuff, right? You know,
But I think that's the thing, also, they've all gone back to like previous, like the Chelsea one was their badge and the whatever. I'll tell you what Adidas are doing at the minute for third kits is that, like the Man United one, the home and away kits are just the one that you know, the kind of, and the third one's just the devil.
The devil, yeah.
Roma's done it with just the wolf's head. I was trying to think if we did it, would it just be a seahorse or would it be the
Magpie.
shield
Or a
magpie.
magpie, maybe, yeah.
we were talking about this on the podcast we did the other night with the
Well, we're
concept
talking about
kits. And stuff.
yeah, the concept
And
kits.
I always referenced Arsenal's because they have a cannon on theirs on
Yes,
normally their way,
that's
which
the
is
one,
just
aye.
beautiful. You know, it's great. I like the alternative, like personally.
Yeah.
Did Derby not just have the ram on theirs as well?
I think they did.
That
yeah.
was actually their badge for a while. Though.
So I'm a this is a funny one actually because I am not a fan of changing the badge at all, right? And what I would say is people are just obsessed with change normally, like, but if you're gonna change it, I don't know why you'd go back over. I don't quite understand that one personally, because you've moved from that for a reason, maybe to be more modern. I don't know, whatever. So I would never go back over. But I do like the idea of incorporating a new badge or some kind of different take on a different strip. So the away one or the third one, that would be pretty cool. Actually,
I wouldn't be adverse to that. Like on a third kit, like
we've kind of done that over the years, where the away and third kits for the last few seasons have just been
Change the
monochrome.
colour, yeah.
So like the Saudi Arabia one, if you like it.
It's just green.
It's
and
green,
it's kind of gold on
The
the
purple one had the
armband and
luminous
Yeah.
yellow-green
Yeah.
colour.
Since
but
we
it's
came-
did on the
still
fat
the
stripes
badge,
with the
though,
white
Since,
crest as well.
since we came back up, I think every kit. Maybe it's not the first season, but certainly from when we had the red and black hoops, red and blue hoops, the 95, 96 kind of one. That was a gold badge on there.
Gold. But the black ones we've had recently were gold badges.
Yeah. So they have been doing that to a certain degree.
But it's
anyway.
still the same badge, isn't
It's
it?
still the same badge.
It
It's
is.
the club crest.
Yeah, but it's a variation on that.
I think,
home
like,
one,
what
the COVID kit was just the white.
The white one, yeah.
Yeah.
That was the fat stripes.
Yeah.
But I think when you're talking about
I
like
think
the
they've
likes
got it
of
right.
Arsenal,
do.
Man United, and stuff like that, they're harking back to their first badges, where back then they were very, very simple, of a cannon of just a red devil,
Yeah.
the ram for Derby and things like that.
First badges, though,
So
earlier badges.
if we were to change
Yeah.
the crest, and I just want to put it out there, we're not in agreement of this, we're just having a discussion because it's a talking point. What would you like to see incorporated on that, Bestie?
I've been trying to think of that one. We've been talking about it, and I don't know.
The reason I say it's because somebody mentioned it, I can't remember who it was, sorry, said that they would like to see a bridge on it.
Yeah, I was thinking of bridge or maybe the Blue Star, because the Blue Star seems to be kind of
Nothing
become
to do with Newcastle.
synonymous with the Blue Star with the city silhouette.
He hates the Gallowgateshots logo. The Almost Man and Faces podcast logo has got a blue star on
So
it.
hold on. So the Blue Stars got nothing to do with Newcastle.
Even though I'm looking at a Blue Star now that's got the time bridge.
But she's got that in. That's Newcastle to me. Like
When?
that. Well, then
But-
it is.
When did the
That's-
Newcastle
that's
breweries close down?
So
No, but
so
what-
that's to do. I get what you're saying. That's to do with Newcastle, but not Newcastle United Football Club.
Yeah, well, I get
Because
that.
take that
That's a-
away,
that's a
it's still
sponsor,
Blue
it's a
Star.
company.
It's still got the bridge in it. But
No, but
because
he's
it's
not on
Newcastle
about. He's
Brown
not on
Ale.
about that. But like, you're referencing what's in the star as well.
Well,
right?
I am, but not just that, but the fact
Aye.
that the Blue Star is synonymous. I know it's not a brand.
I get what
It's
you're
not
saying.
part of the Newcastle's identity as a football club necessarily, but it's synonymous with if you draw a plain kit and you just put a Blue Star on it, so you've got a white background, nothing, outline of a football shirt, and someone draws a Blue Star, that's Newcastle.
Mm.
I
Everyone
would
knows it is.
think so.
Say if you do the no smoking badge, it's West Brom, or if it's
And of
Sharks
course,
sign, and
you
it's just-
couldn't
Aye,
use
sure.
that logo which is on the brown ale. You
Combi
couldn't
boiler.
because it'll be trademark, copyright, whatever.
I get that. Yeah.
But you could incorporate a Blue Star, like even a small little one somewhere.
Yeah.
So
Have a-
bridge, we've got a
have a-
bridge, we've got a Blue
Is that
Star.
when we're first Champions League?
Oh,
Blue
put,
Star.
Get Blue Star
oh,
on.
put a magpie on it.
I feel it. It probably has to be a magpie. Having said that, there's a lot of stuff I've seen in the club shot. I think a polo shirt with just a magpie on.
Yeah.
I just feel we are the Magpies, aren't we? That's what we are.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise us
So
if
we're
they
not
were,
county though.
well, maybe, but
Do you know what it is?
don't
Though?
know.
The more I think about it, the more that they could absolutely butcher this. Like,
Oh, it's hard, mate. It's really hard. I agree. Remember when
I'll
Leeds
give
did
you
it?
one example.
Remember when Leeds did it?
That's exactly.
Can you remember the
same
Leeds one?
thing
Oh,
there,
you were
right?
going to say that,
Exactly.
sorry, were you?
how long did that
Aye.
Leeds one last for? About
It didn't.
half a day.
It didn't. It was hours.
It was announced, then it's actually. It was
Either
announced,
released it then.
This
Was
is,
that
this,
much out?
this is what it's going to be, and then it's actually no.
But
So
it was
what's
like
worrying
Pez,
that?
wasn't it? You know, Prevo. It was like a Prevo logo.
The worrying thing about that
Leeds.
Leeds design, it's got to go through stages to
Oh.
get to that point.
That's
How
not
did
one.
it even get that far?
That's not one bloke that Leeds has gone.
No.
I think this is a new brand. That'll come through weeks and weeks and months of like groups and groups. And that's the thing. That was the best thing. That was to them what Leeds' identity should be.
But they've paid a marketing company to do that, who
Yeah.
done research and looked at the identity of the
Got
club.
loads of hits.
They haven't
man, yeah,
spoken to the people that matter, and that is the fans.
Well, the
And
ma-
that's the one good thing that in this stipulation that they put is that they wouldn't change those things without
heritage,
input
yeah.
from the fans.
it was like the colours of the kit, wasn't it? And the badge. and
Colours,
something else.
badge,
St. James
name.
Park?
Name.
I think that was it. I'm sure there was only 3.
Yeah, it was 3.
But obviously the Leeds board or whoever it was just didn't speak to anybody about that. They just went and did it. Is there any that you like that's changed over the years? There? Obviously, you just showed me the Spurs.
I
ones.
think the Spurs one.
Yeah.
I really love their new. But I'm really banging about Spurs here. The shop's amazing. No, but I
got them cups with the fill up from the bottom.
God, I'm
Um,
going to do it and say Liverpool because I think they did a good job since it was like quite
Yes.
fussy, wasn't it, in the
So
90s?
this is what I was going to say. I could be totally wrong here. I'm just thinking of that there was a few teams changed their badge almost around the same time. It felt like, and it went a real just being a simplified version.
Yeah.
That's
And
why they did it. Like
very
all of them have done
simplified.
it, simplified it, but to make it easier to
'cause I-
manufacture and print and all of that kind
I
of
look
thing.
at the Tottenham badge from the 90s that I'm, remember personally, to what it is now, and it's night and day. I mean, it's just one, but I think it looks incredibly smart. So it can be done, and you're right, the Liverpool badge was similar in terms of what them did.
Yeah.
They changed it to something a lot more simplified. But I'm a big fan of the Spurs change personally in terms of how that looks.
Any else spring to mind for you, Mark?
Yeah, they've all been through. Like Norwich, I remember Norwich just recently changed theirs and kept it very, very similar, but just tightened it up a bit and that kind of thing. There isn't. I mean, like when we talked about in the past, we are the only club within the Premier League that hasn't changed their badge within the last 10 to 15 years. I think it is
Longer.
I know we haven't,
right.
but like
Like
within
Norwich
that,
were the only
within
ones
that
that were
time.
longer than us at the time.
Yeah.
And they changed it. I mean, they
They've
went down.
changed
But
it
This
they
was ever so slightly. It was a very slight
kind of
change.
just
yeah,
tightened it up,
they
yeah.
made the
Changed the colours and a
made
little bit and stuff like that.
canary more anatomically accurate or whatever, like in the castle, that is because it's based in Norwich Castle, it looks more like it than it did on the old badge. But yeah, the ones that have changed, I quite like. I don't been seeing how much we don't like the circular one so much. I thought Chelsea's looked great because
I was
Chelsea
just
was one
about
of
to
the
say
first ones to do
Chelsea.
it.
Yeah.
They did a good job with that one. I think Villa's is all right, although the line feels like it's going the wrong way.
Has that line not switched a couple of times though?
Villa,
Yeah,
Villa
but
did it
then-
right though, because Villa had about 9 different options or something
Yeah.
like that, and they put it out to a public vote.
It's getting the right people to vote though, and it has to go. Like you get loads of Birmingham fans saying, "Oh, what it needs to be is like a massive cock or something like that, like the pile of shite."
What are your thoughts, Bestie, on just text?
Like
So
NUFC,
yeah, because
Yeah.
I'm not a big fan of it.
It depends on how it's done. Because I mean, I mentioned earlier that the West Brom no smoking kit, they had an away kit. I love when they've got the really thick broad stripes. And it goes back to the kind of Cyril Regis days from the early mid '80s, and they had a yellow and green striped away kit with WBA,
WBA
like
on it,
scroll,
didn't it? Yeah.
and it looked really, really good. It was like dead smart. So but they'd had that before. You see, like I know, like Sunderland had it in the '73 Cup final. Leeds had it quite a bit earlier. Leeds had it in the '90s. They moved. Remember the Leeds, the sort of rose, is it? The Yorkshire logo, the badge,
The white rose, isn't it?
White Rose, yeah, beg pardon, was over the Essex, and they had LUFC, the Gary Speed kid with
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they did. Yeah.
So if it's something that's historically been done, I no bother, but we haven't had that before, so I don't think it would be. I think Notts County had it actually. I'm sure Notts County had an Adidas kit in the early '80s that had NCFC, in like a magpie. I might be wrong on that, like, but I'm sure. And it looks dead smart for them, but we haven't had it before, and it would feel like it would be like a false, what's it called, like a retcon, type of thing. Like so, in the right circumstances, it could be a good thing, but I don't think that it would work for us because we haven't had it before.
You'd have to have a thick stripe. It wouldn't work on thin stripes or average size stripes, would it?
Don't get started with them stripes, mate. Is there anything that you want to add to the crest debate?
Nope.
Moving on. Okay, we'll move on. We'll end. We've got 2 more topics. We'll quickly go through these ones. So first on is obviously you've seen the announcement from the club today, which was also posted last week, but then posted again this week, that 48 had been moved to official Asian betting sponsors or whatever it may
partners.
be.
So,
How long before we get the announcement to the new sponsor, Mark? Coming days?
well, if rumours are to be believed, in advance of Friday. But
Coinciding with the shirt release.
yeah, so that's what we're led to believe. Whether it'll come to fruition or not is another thing. But things are starting to fall into place, aren't they? Ending that sponsor. I guess we all had a fair idea that was happening. It's been like one of those poorly guarded secrets where
Hadn't it been announced?
Well, the Premier League had said you couldn't
officially last week.
but
By
they
the
said,
club.
but now because the Premier League come out and said you couldn't have a betting sponsor as your shirt sponsor. wasn't
That's not for another
That's from 2024,
another
I think.
season.
Has
Oh,
that
is
even
it?
been signed off yet?
Yeah.
I know it was rumours. I'm not sure if it's been signed
Yeah,
off
yeah.
yet.
I was just wondering what, like, like Stoke seems a Bet365 arena, isn't it? And that's what they're sponsored by, isn't it? So that's a tough. Is it? Or is it just Premier League though? Maybe.
So
or
it's
is it
Hollywood
just Premier
Bet,
League?
Brentford.
Okay, fair enough. But I mean, we all kind of knew, didn't we? I think we all have we have a kind of good idea of what it's going to be. just judging what we've read and what
Yeah.
we've seen. So, and I would probably say by the week's out, you would imagine maybe
We
because the
don't-
shirt's got to start. It's got to be coming out soon, right?
We don't know if it is going to be Friday. It's just rumors, and you get rumors could be completely
Aye,
wrong.
it's
It could be
always-
2 weeks away. Like we don't know. We're not going to sit here and pretend that we know, but the rumor was, and this was weeks ago.
It's early, like, to be fair, isn't it? To be, I know
Not
in
necessarily.
the past we have had them like at the end of the season playing in the last game and stuff like that. but
Them were the days. Remember them days?
it's normally
Yeah.
more
still
into like
happens.
July, isn't it?
That
That
may-
way?
that
Liverpool played in their new kit
Yeah,
last
they did.
weekend.
Yeah.
And,
Arsenal did as well.
yeah, if you do, Man City did.
Maybe we've been a bit held up due to the fact that we're negotiating a new sponsor as well.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why. You know what I mean? If these guys are going to be in there for the next X amount of years, we might go back to that and be ahead of the game.
This is the last sponsor of really the Mike Ashley era now, isn't it? Obviously, the sleeve sponsor is staying with Noon.
Yeah.
Funny, it's obviously moving to betting sponsor, whatever the hell that is. Does it even make any difference whatsoever? What are they paying for that? What they're receiving from it? Like God
Yeah.
knows. Then obviously we're going to have a new sponsor on the front of the shirt.
It wouldn't surprise us if that was part of the negotiations to end the sponsorship deal.
Yeah, yeah.
We'll
A
keep
year
you
already,
as a-
wasn't it?
Yeah.
I agree.
We'll keep you as an Asian.
But I think
business partner.
that is all of the loose ends tied up in it in that regard. I think like they're all gone. The last everything that he had a piece of.
Castor.
Oh well,
That's
Castor. To be
Castor's
fair, I
the only
suppose
one,
it's a good
yeah.
point. Then, actually, sorry, yeah.
4
Yeah.
years left on that, isn't it? Apparently?
His mum and dad have still got the box.
Do,
I
do
quite
you
like
like
that, you know.
do you like Castor?
Yeah, it's all right.
Because I do.
I don't mind them.
I do.
I've
I
had
know-
issues with
they're
quality.
not worse than. I mean, the quality QC things a bit, and the delivery stuff at the start of the season was a bit unedifying. Like, but with regard to the design of the stuff, it doesn't look any worse than.
No, I like it. Like
I think.
I don't think we've had a bad Castor shirt.
I'll
No?
be honest,
I agree.
right? They're greedy as fuck.
oh, I'll give you that. Yeah.
The amount of shirts that come out and the amount of training stuff.
But you don't have to buy them.
No, but it's just pure greed, isn't it?
Well,
Not if
it's
you didn't buy them.
it's greed, but it's also I will say that
They
they are
rip you off as well.
they're
man.
extortionate. Like the price of
They are
the gear.
expensive.
Like
Like you go in
Yeah.
one day, it's 75 quid for that quarter zip, that pullover.
it's
You
not
go in
good,
2 weeks later, it's 20 quid.
though. Aye, I know.
Yeah.
It
Like
is
you're having a
annoying.
laugh.
Never buy anything full price.
Nah, never.
Well, wait till the Champions League stuff comes out. I'm fucked.
Bags.
I'll just be everything they've got. Oh, no, I'm not
Do you
getting
do trolleys in here?
Aye.
You could buy a novelty Nana trolley
Yeah, I will.
from
I
the
was just
glove shop and put your
I'm-
stuff in.
Did they not used to do that? Like Newcastle shopping trolleys.
Do you do a Champions League shopping trolley?
Like a shopping
Remember
trolley.
that? Like they're shop,
Like a
not
Nana
a,
one.
aye, like a Nana caddy. Is that
Yeah,
the
I don't know.
caddy thing?
Not that I'm aware of.
I've got some sort of recollection of a. Oh, unless it was it might have been a pull-on luggage.
They would have done
Yeah,
You know,
luggage.
for like your
Maybe
hand
there's some
hand
sort of
luggage on a
luggage, yeah.
plane or train or something.
Yeah, they would have done
Yeah, they don't even
luggage.
do them anymore. Yeah, do they? See, there's another thing they could be selling. Newcastle crest, bang on it. Yeah.
I'm sure they will do in time. Like
They will. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they will.
So do you think now, with the sponsorship, we're going to see a lot of things happening over the summer, Bestie? We saw a few things in January with the likes of Monster coming in. You had Dr. Cynic, and what was the other one? We had the trip to Saudi sponsored.
Oh, sponsored by it was a
We had a telecom sponsor.
yeah.
We've got this hub thing now in Saudi Arabia, which I've seen loads.
Aye.
It's like a hub.
Oh, I like that. Aye,
Oh.
where they had like they do the
It's like a lot of
FIFA
FIFA
gaming
stuff
and all
there,
that kind
and
of
like they play the
Oh,
matches
like
there.
The esports, yeah, it's got
Yeah.
I forget what it's called now, but I know the one you mean. Yeah.
esports. That's the word I
I'm
was
just
looking
going
Yeah.
with hub. That's what I'm going with.
Um,
Do you think this is now where we're going to see a lot of movement?
Well, the fact that they've stipulated that for 88 are now the Asian betting partner, which kind of surmised or implies that there's going to be an American,
Continent
Latin
betting
American,
sponsors.
yeah.
Well, we signed a new Latin American head scout
Did we?
today. I seen.
I didn't see that.
You
very
think
good.
there's a joke coming here,
I
don't you?
did.
No, that's
I
Yeah,
thought there
that's-
was a joke
I,
coming
thought-
in.
I was expecting
That's
that to cut
true,
the,
yeah,
like, This is like that the thing you said the other week. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I think so. I think they'll be exploiting every avenue they can when they look at. There's been quite a bit since Man City won the league this year about the 115 apparent breaches of financial fair play that they've been responsible for. So I think they're going to be looking at everything to see, right, how do we get money in and keep it all above
Mhm.
board.
Like, what haven't we tapped into previously?
And there's all sorts, as I say, we've now got an Asian betting partner. I don't know, I'm not familiar if that we've got like a oceanic betting partner or a American. So that would be one avenue. A hair transplant partner now, which is what we've all been waiting for.
Hit us up, Dr. Cynic.
So there's loads, there's any amount of stuff like you're saying, Decker, about stuff in the club shop that they don't have. More partnerships means more oddballs underpants. There's only like 3 pairs of them in the shop.
Well, we're official drink sponsors, Monster now. What you're drinking there, so you just rinse loads of cans of that out with a badge on and stuff. I'm telling you, man, we are mental for things like this. We just are. Like, I'm telling you now, man. What I would always say,
To be fair, I think there's a couple of clubs sponsored now. I saw a video was a
Oh, is
Villa.
I think
Yeah.
They were
Villa are,
sponsored by that today.
Yeah, I think they are. Yeah.
They've done a mint video. Like,
But I
promo
remember
video.
when they had the special bottles and cans of brown ale for the cup finals in the 90s.
Aye.
And some pubs have still got them. In the
Still
back
got
of
them,
my-
yeah.
And stuff like that.
I've still got my
Oh,
Shearer
Brownhill done a
testimonial
few
one.
things
I have
last
still got
season
mine.
where it was just
Yeah.
different logos
Yeah.
on it.
Yeah,
On
that's
that one, they've got Millennium Bridge. On that one, they've got a Shearer one as well, I
Yeah.
believe.
Yeah, I've got that.
There's a
The,
few different
um,
ones.
There's loads of stuff.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that this will happen soon, but I always say have a secondary sponsor for your training kit. I think my United's got that.
I think we will.
That's an amazing way to get money
Yeah.
in that, by the way. Like if you've got your match day kit stuff, but your training gear is a different
I
sponsor.
think all of it, like Tottenham, Liverpool, Man U.
It's the way
I don't know if
forward.
Arsenal
Like.
have or not, but a lot
It's
of
the
them
way
have got it now.
forward,
Like,
Now you've obviously it's a tough one to sell because the guys who are paying you the money the first, them want everything, and I totally
Yeah.
understand why they would. But that's an amazing opportunity to get more money in. I think
Just from you alone.
just from me,
the Pewtry household.
just from me alone.
But no, like when you like, we was talking towards the last third of last season about the players that they could be looking at qualifying for the Champions League and how the standard of player, if we finished in the top four, was going to be better than if we'd finished fifth, sixth. Qualifying for Europe, we finished a bit lower. And I think that goes with advertisers as well. I think you're more likely to get a blue chip top of the table advertiser if you're in the Champions League. So if they can take that, if they've got their logo in St James's Park on a Tuesday, Wednesday night, and you're playing against, with us being in pot 4 as well, which we're guaranteed to be as far as I'm gathered.
We are.
We're going to be getting at least 2 really good sides.
Aye.
Plus, another thing, if I might just digress slightly, I've been thinking this at the weekend. Like Bayern Munich will be in pot 1 or 2, by pot 1 because they're in the league. They're going to be looking at pot 4, thinking, "Oh, don't Newcastle."
Yeah, 100%.
No, I'm not saying that we're going to pump them. I'm just saying they're going to look and think that's a hard team. That they're going to want
it's a tough pick from the fourth pot.
they're going to want like Celtic ahead of us, or that's maybe not a fair example, but someone from like a qualifier who's just going to be a whipping boy. There's always like Slovan Liberec or something like that. Like they're going to look at Newcastle and think, "Oh, whichever group we are in is a group of death straight away." Not I'm saying we're going to win it or we're going to finish top 2, but we'll, they won't want to play us. So it's that. But yeah, any advertiser is going to think, well, I'm going to have people in Barcelona watching me products, people in Munich, people in Madrid, people in Rome, in Milan, and they're going to be going, "Oh, I'll pay more money for that." Training kit sponsors, Noon, front of shirt sponsors, hair transplant sponsors, everything, condom sponsors, a lot. Get more on them.
Tino's got them, man.
That'll come as the success continues or grows, obviously, because we've done it. I've done it once and fabulous, amazing. Haven't stopped smiling, but obviously maybe some sponsors, well, hang on. Not quite yet.
We need to maintain.
If we could maintain that, all of a sudden you just more and more.
And that's not guaranteed. Like
no,
the way the prize money set out, there was that thing Martin Samuel wrote the weekend before last,
but it helps
Very
with the
eye-opening.
constant flow of income coming in from like these deals.
I think we are slightly unique in the pattern that we've got away from that. Like, I mean,
we just need clever ways to filter it in.
With all
isn't it?
respect in the world, like Leicester, who were bankrolled by the King, the duty free, wasn't it? And they've just gone down. I think we're in a stronger position, even though they won the league to qualify for the Champions League. Like we're in a stronger position behind the scenes than they were at the time, just because of who it is that owns it. But unbelievably,
I think the only issue with it's different rules, isn't there, for European football with sponsorship. Is not similar to the World Cup and stuff like that, where the certain sponsors aren't allowed to be on the show.
in the ground sponsorship.
In the ground,
and stuff
so
like
boards
that.
in the ground.
Isn't it?
I'm not
Just
sure if
Heineken?
it's everything or what.
Because it's the official beer.
Yeah, right.
Or then Budweiser
There will be a
was the
scenario where
official
they've got
beer
to
and
block
stuff like
things
that.
out because all the Sports Direct signs were covered.
It's normally car rental.
Hertz.
I couldn't think of the name of them. Heineken.
Is Gazprom still knocking around or whatever they're called?
We'll just get centre parks back in the front for the away games.
Gazprom Russian.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they're probably going to be
binned.
Persona non grata, aren't they? They'll have to be like N-Power or something like that. Or Northern Network.
We'll end it. Right.
Octopus.
Thanks everybody for joining us tonight. It's been a pleasure as always. Been going for just over an hour. If you just want to like the video, it helps us out massively. If you want to go the extra step further, become a subscriber. Costs absolutely nothing to do that, and you do get access to all the videos. If you want to give an extra bit back, you can become a member. It is just $2.99 a month. Helps us out massively with the upkeep of everything around here. And you get those videos, which I mentioned a little bit earlier than everybody else, along with a couple of bonus videos as well. Thanks, everybody. Watch what you're doing. See you later.